Hello, I am EHU Milathianaki and I am educator and PhD candidate at the University of the Basque Country. This is my research about teachers' beliefs and attitudes regarding inclusive education and the use of technology for children with mild to moderate intellectual disability and children with learning disabilities in the Greek formal education system. A survey on the attitudes and the beliefs on the most critical factors regarding the children's successful inclusion. In this, you can see the work I have been done so far from September or July in 2021 until now about the literature review, the theoretical framework, and my participation and publications in international conferences such as ICON from October until June, and more specifically on May, and afterwards with my publication and my participations on the 4th Pan-Hellenic Scientific Conference in Crete. Otherwise, we can see that from October until July, we have check on progress, data analysis, data interpretation, and more findings about my research plan. You can also find more information about me and my work and my research in my personal website in www.milathianaki.gr. The COVID period in Greece, Europe, and worldwide is a new chapter in the everyday life of each person. The spread of the coronavirus created new challenges and caused significant disruption to the health, social, professional, and educational life of all students and people, irrespective of their personal, socioeconomic, or academic level or their limitations. The outbreak of COVID has limited the opportunities of all students, educators, and teachers to have equal access in distance education as the information and communication technology, assistive technology, and digital technology was not available in every home or institution. Indeed, in the 21st century, science, technology, and social media are widely spread in the everyday life of each person. Hence, they have a crucial role and potential toward the social, personal, inclusive, educational, and personal life, not only of the typical development children, but also of the learners with SEN. Broadly speaking, information and communication technology and assistive technology give many opportunities to the pupils, to the parents, and to the teachers to improve and make easier their quality of life, communicate, minimize their social exclusion, and enlarge their participation and independence in all environments. Additionally, these tools help students to overcome their barriers as they could respond to their diverse neurodevelopmental and individualized learning needs. More specifically, assistive technology provided new ways of teaching and learning if it were utilized appropriate and maximizing the involvement and the socialization of the disabled learners. All those people with disabilities have the opportunity to be educated and to communicate with their peers, their teachers, their friends, with other people and institutions by using a more interesting, creative, alternative and differentiated way through the use of assistive technology and of social media. After the Jontians and Salamanca's conference, the nations have a main goal to provide equal and quality education for all children in a general school, irrespective of their race, the gender, the color, the ethnicity, the severity, or the type of the disability, to reduce all types of exclusion and discrimination. Those characteristics create complexity, diverse learning needs, and different speeds of learning which prevent and limit the same students' educational opportunities and achievements. To achieve inclusive education, nation practices and systems need to be open-minded, responsive, and flexible to the learner's diverse needs. Thus, that adoption embodies the social model of the disability and the understanding of disability as a human right, which reinforces the self-efficacy, the sense of dignity, and the human prospects of those people. Within that perspective, inclusive learning environments and methods are influenced not only from the biological barriers of the peoples, but also from the context in which they grow up. Furthermore, a key role in this rapid evolution are the teachers and educators who differentiate the curriculum and are adapting new and more flexible teaching methods, activities, outcome, resources, and assessments to provide and to respond to the individual needs of the learners. Differentiation practices enable teachers to promote all students with or without disabilities in inclusive setting environments according to their individualized educational needs. It has been pointed out that intellectual, emotionally, and physically disabled students need more assistance in educational processing than their same age typically developing peers. Nevertheless, the teacher's attitudes and beliefs are fundamental in the holistic development of all disabled and non-disabled students. In this point, it is interesting to note that when these teachers' attitudes and beliefs are correlated with the implementation of students with intellectual disability, the challenges usually become more complex. More specifically, individuals with intellectual disability face general mental retardation that adversely affects the individual's adaptive behavior, at least in three areas, such as cognitive, social, and the practical field. The children with mild to moderate disabilities confront lifelong and chronic individual limitations in learning process, in their daily socialization, and in their functional skills. Nevertheless, even pupils with ID attending inclusive education in general school settings, they face several barriers in their educational process. Corresponding disadvantages face children with learning disabilities, heterogeneous group of disorders characterized by asymmetry between normal nonverbal intelligence and difficulties in oral or written speech, in reading, in mathematics, in the processing of visual and audio information, in problem solving, or in reasoning. These difficulties coexist with learning, attending, transferring, motoring, and coordinate difficulties, which are arising from their limited cognitive and adaptive behavior abilities in perceiving and comprehending complicated information in the class as well as in finishing their activities. Concomitantly, as those students attended so many difficulties, they feel unsupported, insecure, and fail. Their negative experience within or outside the classroom affect their academic achievement and their full development. Research by Gomez Peretta, Chiner, Melero Perez, and Lorenzo, Aiken, Gakildei, and Karasu, as well as McMahon, Kihak, Wright, and Bell, observed that the difficulties in reasoning and problem solving, in design, in organization, in the reception and understanding of concepts, in the use of cognitive, metacognitive, and self-defining strategies are reduced when use assistive technology applications, computers and smart games, and promotes motivation and education in reading, decoding, and comprehension, but also in writing process. With this shift, the teacher's support, encourage, and assistance is crucial toward the successful, inclusive education of those disabled students. Promoting their academic performance, the education's positive attitudes and perspectives could enable the ID learners to have access in the learning process, in the school setting or outside. Learn easier and decrease their self-efficacy and dependence. To improve and reinforce the cognitive, behavioral, and learning, verbal and written abilities of ID and LD learners, teachers could encourage them by using more flexible and differentiated teaching methods and materials such as assistive technology. In particular, the term assistive technology means a wide range of devices, services, systems, strategies, modifications, and methods which are used and applied by people with disabilities with a view to alleviate their disabilities, to promote their full, equitable, and smooth integration, and to act as assistance to children with SEN, such as intellectual disability or learning disabilities, as they facilitate the teaching or learning process. Within technology tools is included assistive technology, which defined as any external product which embodies low-tech, such as adapted custom pen, pencil, or with handles, custom paper, magnifier highlighters, and into high-tech devices such as computer, keyboard, alternative keypad with zoom, digital books, digital pen, screen reader, text-to-speech, speech recognition, magnified labels or braille, tactile labels for keyboards. These tools, however, there is a lack of studies on how special and generally primary and secondary education teachers' attitudes and perception of assistive technology, use devices and services, and how it could impact the inclusive education of intellectual disabled and of learners with learning disabilities in Greece. Within that perspective, the present research aims to examine the attitudes and perspectives of Greek primary and secondary education general and special teachers, and the concerns and attitudes of teachers toward the inclusion of intellectually disabled or with learning difficulties students in the Greek formal education system, as well as the use of technology for children with mild to moderate intellectual disability and children with learning disabilities in general schools in Greece. The aim of the survey is to investigate teachers' perceptions and attitudes toward the inclusion of children with intellectual disabilities and learning difficulties in general schools in Greece, and the use of technology for these children. About the methodology, more specifically, the scale is a quantitative method, structured questionnaire based on validated questionnaires. The goals of data collection and the study design was the reliability and validity, and for the needs of this research, we used two different closed-type questionnaires, which based on the examination of the teacher sentiments, attitudes, and concerns about the inclusive education of children with SEN, and on the investigation of teacher attitudes and perceptions of assistive technology used for students with learning or developmental disabilities. The sample of this research is made up from 751 male and female general and special educational primary and secondary teachers in Greece, and we are considered about snowball sampling. About the procedure and the data collection, via COVID period, the face-to-face disputation was impossible. Thus, we was delivered the data collection through email, internet, and social media. Our next steps for our research is the data analysis, the confirmation of expected results, and the writing of this thesis. Thank you all for your attention.